So, a lot of people, especially in the Joe Silva era days, you'd see if someone had two back-to-back losses in the UFC, they were gone, snip, cut, just because of the roster. You obviously went on after your two losses to rack up wins, go on a 4-fight win streak, fight for the belt. I mean, and have had a great run. After your second loss in the UFC, were you concerned about job security, or did you feel like I just need to make some adjustments and go back? Or was there ever a point where you questioned if I lost two fights at the top tier, is this really what I should still be doing?
Yeah, no, 100%. I had all those thoughts. I started seeing a sports psychologist around that time, like, because the fights were so weird. Like the fight with McMahon really fucked me up a little bit. And we just moved to Arizona. So I was with a new camp and I was kind of adjusting to all that. And then when I fought Liz Carmouche, it was the weirdest thing. It was like, it was the most boring fight ever. It sucked. And I couldn't really understand it. I was like, what is going on? Maybe I don't belong here. But then the fights were so close. Like I felt like I beat Liz. Even though it was a boring fight, I felt like I had beat Liz. And then, obviously the fight with McMahon was super close because it was a split decision. And so I felt real conflicted because I was like, I'm right there. These are the best women in the world. Nobody could argue. They're both fought for the UFC title. They're some of the best women in the world. I'm right there with them, but these fights are, boring. I'm having a hard time pulling the trigger. And so anyway, I called a sports psychologist and I was concerned about the UFC cutting me. In fact, I can't remember if they said, you're going to fight out your contract. And I can't remember if they told me after I fought Liz or if they told me after my next fight, but either way, I knew I was going to fight out my contract.
So, do you feel like the sports psychologist helped?
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
What were some of I'm always curious because I think that's a big the mental aspect of fighting. I mean, you can speak eloquently on this too. Like when someone breaks mentally in the cage, they usually do that long before they physically break. And I mean, I've been in those scenarios. I'm like, oh, just take the fucking armbar because I'm done getting punched in the head by Thiago Alves on the ground, like, so, what were some of the things that the sports psychologist, gave you, or what kind of tools that you could maybe share with some of the up and coming MMA fighters?
Oh yeah, for sure. So a lot of it has to do with confidence, just really believing in myself, being able to execute, the way that I was in sparring. He helped me understand like how to give 100% into my practices so that I can practice giving 100%, on fight night. And I had been making a lot of mental errors, but one of them was that, I wasn't practicing the way that I wanted to fight. That was one of them. One of the tools that he helped me with really a lot is focus. So like I've learned how to keep my focus a lot better while I'm in practice. And I try to have the same amount of focus and intensity during practice that I want to have during the fight now. So that doesn't mean that I have to go hard or hurt anybody. It doesn't mean I'm out there like TKOing my teammates. It just means that I'm present and focused with the same intensity that I want to have the night of the fight. And so that's helped me have a lot better practices and feel more prepared. But one of the biggest things he gave me was a tool that I use for all my camps now. And it's like a little notebook, and I'll start keeping notes in it. So every time I have a negative thought, I will write down like a positive counter thought to that negativity, and I write it in the notebook. And just other like positive affirmations, things that I want to remember in the fight. They're little things, usually a sentence or two. Some examples of what I might write in there are that like, I know I'm one of the best fighters in the world and I'm ready to give 100% to compete. Or another thing that I might write in there is that, I know I'm in shape. I know that I'm going to have a great weight cut. And I know that when it's time to pull the trigger, I'm going to go. Like just stuff like that I can read before the fight. It kind of pumps me up. It makes me feel confident. And so I'll keep this little notebook throughout camp, and I'll add to it and add to it. And then by the time we get to, fight week, I have this notebook that I can carry around. I take it with me everywhere. I read it before my weight cut. I read it on the bus on the way to the arena. I read it in the locker room. And it's really helped me stay focused and stay positive in moments where I might start having doubts or, struggling with things like confidence or focus that day. So that little notebook that I carry around is like huge for me. I really like it.